Hello, every pony. My name is Blancmark, and welcome to a Phasmophobia tier list. It's my first time using Tier Maker, so that'll be fun if I can find something I can use. Otherwise, I'll have to make it myself. But luckily, I did find something I can use, which is a ghost tier list featuring all the ghosts that are currently in the game as of recording of this video, which is April 2023. Yeah, so we'll be ranking these ghosts based on various criteria, such as how much fun I have going up against one of these ghosts, their interactions, their special powers, their hunting prowess, and so forth. And the first one we're going to start with is the Banshee. Now, the Banshee used to be quite scary for me because they have the ability to teleport to a player, follow them around, and then, especially after the teleport, if you're within line of sight, it'll just start a hunt at any sanity. That was scary. I've been jump scared by a sudden Banshee hunt several times. I may have died once or twice to it as well because I was just not prepared, and the game back then wasn't as well versed in hiding, I guess. So a lot of the times you had to run away, and there was no really, you couldn't really react in time if you were in a bad position. For example, in Tanglewood, if you're in around the coffee table, for example, it was just, I guess that was still possible, but you could be like in a corner and then the ghost would just spawn on you. That would suck. But since that ability has been removed, the Banshee has been quite declawed. And honestly, that kind of sucks because now they have like a special sound when you use the parabolic, which is cool. It does sound like a banshee wail, and they can still like target one player specifically. But you know, if you play solo, that doesn't really matter. So a declawed banshee would go into C tier for me. Unfortunately, they should give this ghost more, like like a ghost event where they just wail instead, and then you lose a whole bunch of sanity or something. Something sound based that would be really cool to have. But so far, they kind of got nerfed a lot, sadly. Their ability to hunt at any sanity has been given to the demon instead, which is up next. The demon is pretty scary as they can do that. They don't seem to do it a lot, and they cannot teleport to people. So that is also less scary. The demon does hunt at I think it's like a 70% sanity around there, so it's earlier than any other ghost. To be honest, I don't find the demon to be that much of a problem. Usually, like I said, it doesn't seem to use its power much, and if you keep your sanity under control, whether I play alone or whether I play with my fellow Gap chaps, it usually seems to be fine. We keep a close eye on our sanity. So I honestly don't think it's as bad as the other ghosts can be, but it possesses some danger, so I'll put it in B tier. It also doesn't have anything special to help it once it starts hunting. No speed increase or special senses or something, so then we get the Diogen, or the Ogen. That's Dutch for the eyes, which is based on some sort of a Belgian tale where this being can just see everything, which is represented in game by having it rush towards you, towards your location when it starts hunting. No matter where you are on the map, it knows exactly where you are, and it will beeline straight towards you. And then when it gets to you, it slows down to a crawl in order to, and then basically forcing you to loop it. Which is funny because they said like, we don't want you to loop anymore. We're doing all these things to prevent you from looping, and then they add a ghost that you have to loop, or else you will die. But because you can loop it, it is actually kind of fun. So I would say that the Diogen, it can catch you off guard. If you can't make it to a place to properly loop it, you're probably dead. If you can figure out early what the Diogen actually is, that it is a Diogen, then if you're properly prepared, I mean, I guess that goes for all ghosts, but especially for the Diogen, then it is no problem. It can't speed up that much within line of sight. Line of sight itself doesn't speed it up, so it's very easy to loop and take a ghost photo and all that and see some interactions and such. So that I mean, honestly, I would put the Diogen. Actually, not D, C tier. Yeah, because it can prove a threat to the unprepared, but it is a low C for me. Then the Goryo. I find the Goryo to be one of the most boring ghosts in the game, and I get him a lot. Honestly, the Goryo doesn't like to leave its room, doesn't like to wander much, and you can't see the dots unless you're or unless you're on a camera. It's like, okay. I get them a lot, and I find them to be uninteresting in general. So I will put the Goryo in D tier. I don't like the Goryo. Actually, it's not Goryo. It's actually Goryo. Um, it's related to the Onryo, but yeah, I don't like the Goryo. It kind of sucks, to be honest. Then we get the Hantu. The Hantu is a ghost that sets its speed based on temperatures in the room, in whatever room it's in. Usually that's not really a problem. I don't know if it's an early hunter. I don't think so. But other than that, yes, it can be fast and it can be dangerous. But honestly, as far as I've had the Hantu, I encountered them a lot, and mm, I don't really care, to be honest. They're not really that interesting to me. Maybe if I have some more experiences where you can actually see their breath or something during a ghost event, or actually have the hunting speed during the in the house when the whole house is cold. That might be interesting, but I don't find it. No, I don't care, to be honest. For me, Hantu is C tier. Then we come to the Jinn. Now the Jinn is overall not very interesting to me. They used to be a little more interesting, where they would love to play with electronics. So they love to flick the light switches and stuff. They don't really seem to do that anymore, sadly. But that was fun to do. Sadly, they removed it. It can still be fast when it sees you, and then kind of slows down a bit when it gets to you. Um, and there's also the whole thing that it will never turn off the breaker because it needs the breaker for its power. And it can also drain the sanity of everyone around it by 25% whenever it wants. All of a sudden, no audio or visual warning, which kind of sucks, to be honest. It would leave a lot of players confused as to why their sanity is suddenly so low. I guess that is a giveaway, but you'll have to keep a close eye on your sanity. And I don't find it a very effective way to figure out that it is a Jinn. More of a last resort if it's not giving you any of its evidence. So the Jinn, it can definitely prove to be a threat if it suddenly drops your sanity by 25% and then it starts hunting you and you have no idea. So we'll put it in B tier. Like the demon, there is a risk, but it's not that much of a risk. Then we get to the mare. The mare thrives in the dark, hunts early in the dark, and if you flick a light switch, it has the chance of immediately turning it back off, which is a dead giveaway that it's a mare, which is kind of, it's good, but it's also kind of sad that it is a dead giveaway. It's like, why is this a thing? I get it, but I kind of want to, like, sometimes I like know from the start that it is a mare, and then like getting evidence feels kind of pointless. I don't know. I'm a little torn on that because I do like the investigation process, and if you can't investigate because you already know it's a mare, it's kind of like, kind of takes a bit away. And as far as danger goes, the slightly earlier hunt doesn't really matter too much for me personally. So I would actually put the mare. There is a danger, but I would actually also put it in C tier. I don't like these ghosts, do I? Then we come to the Moroi. Now the Moroi curses you if you use it. If you use the spirit box, which is one of its evidence, or the parabolic, and you get a sound, it curses you, and your sanity will drain a lot faster. Um, you can cure it by consuming a sanity pill. But once your sanity is very low, 0%, it is incredibly fast. It is one of the fastest ghosts in the game, and I think it can also speed up in line of sight. I think so. For that reason alone, the Moroi is very, very, very dangerous if you let it. I will put a Moroi in S tier. The Moroi is a very deadly ghost under the right circumstances. And come to the Myling. The Myling, I find Mylings to be pretty much as boring as the Goryo, but with softer footsteps. I don't like the Myling. That's all I have to say about it. I get them a lot, and they're so uninteresting. Then we get to the Obake. The Obake can apparently change forms now during a hunt, which is cool, and it can also leave a six-fingered fingerprint or not leave any fingerprints at all. So for that little bit of deception and a little bit of shape-shifting, I do like that. As a special gimmick to this ghost. I don't like it as much as other ghosts, but I will say that I will rank it B. Not because of the danger it poses, even though I do believe it's an early hunter, I think, but more because it tries to mislead you. So I think that deserves a B tier, like kind of middle of the road, kind of. Then we come to the Oni, and the Oni is one of my favorites. The Oni is crazy. The Oni loves people, is a party ghost, and will just do a lot of ghost events and throw things. And the Oni is just, I love the Oni. S tier, hell yeah. Then we come to the Onryo. The Onryo, I think the Onryo used to be more fun when you could kind of cheese it by lighting 4 candles in the room and then throwing all 4 candles. If it starts hunting right away, it's an Onryo. Instead of having the candles kind of act like a crucifix, I I like the old Onryo. The current Onryo, it can definitely be dangerous, and there's always a thing of like, oh, it's either the Onryo or what was it? I think like Onryo Mimic, or I want to say Twins or something. So that's always like a selection that I usually get quite often. And it's quite often you have to determine whether it's a mimic by figuring out whether there's more evidence than just the orb. I'll put it in B. Not as fun as if it kept that one exploit. I guess it would be A tier, but I will put it in B because they removed that and the rest is not the most interesting. I think it is an early hunter, so some danger there. The Phantom. I don't get a lot of phantoms, but when I do, it can be fun. If you manage to snap a photo of it, then you will instantly know that it's a phantom, and I do like that. There's, however, the fact that phantoms don't usually appear in my oops, uh, phantoms don't usually appear in my games, and when they do, they barely do anything. They definitely don't really do an ghost event where they appear much. So I'm usually a little let down when I get a phantom, but when I do get a picture, it's pretty fun. I mean, again, I will have to give them the B tier for that. And during hunts, they have like um, they're less visible during hunts, so it's a lot harder to take a photo. So that brings it down to a low B, I think. And then we come to the Poltergeist, and that is one of my favorite ghosts in the game. I love how trolly they are. Poltergeists definitely love to troll me. I love it. They throw a whole bunch of stuff, and they're like during hunts they throw everything. They can do a big explosion of stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. And I like active ghosts, and this is one of the most active ghosts in the game. I love it. We come to the Raiju. The Raiju, I wouldn't actually call it an S tier, even though it is dangerous. I like how fast it goes when it's near electronics, but in larger maps where there's not a lot of electronics in like all over the place, definitely loses some of its power. While it can still be dangerous, I will put it in A tier because of how dangerous it can be. But personally, I don't really have a lot of issue with it. Which is actually also true of the Revenant, which I'll also put in A tier. It can definitely be very powerful if it sees you during a hunt. If it has a line of sight of you, it just speeds up and you're in trouble. But if you don't, then it's extremely slow and it's unlikely to get anywhere near you. And for that reason, I don't think it's S tier. I think it's more A tier, maybe a low A, because other people always find. Well, I say always. A lot of people have expressed. That's a better way to put it. A lot of people have expressed that they're scared of the Revenant, and the Revenant is like the most dangerous ghost in the game. And while it can definitely be dangerous, I personally have never really had an issue with a Revenant myself. What I find is they're pretty chill ghosts usually. Just tend to open up a few doors. Just they don't really do a whole lot, but they're okay. So A tier, sure. Especially because of the danger they could uh, be to investigators. Then we come to the Shade. The Shade sets itself apart by the things that it's not doing, or only doing when you're not there. Which honestly makes the low interaction rate and the fact that it doesn't do much and doesn't want to hunt when you're there and doesn't, it's like the lack of. And for that reason, I will say that it is a C tier. It's not the worst one. It's not boring for me like the Goryo or the Myling, but it's definitely on the lower side of, I don't really like less interactions. But it does kind of set it apart, and you can easily figure out that it's a Shade based on that. Now the Spirit. The Spirit I have mixed feelings about because the Spirit is kind of like the default entity, the default ghost. The only thing is that it has a longer smudge duration, so it'll take longer for it to hunt after you smudge it. So that's really the only thing. Other than that, it's kind of just there. Spirits for a while, spirits used to be crazy, even crazier than Onis with their ghost events and everything, and I loved that. The Spirit was just one of the was the kings of craziness. They were the kings and queens of craziness, but they're not like that anymore, and for that reason, I D tier. They have nothing going for them at all anymore. Then we come to the Fae, or Faye, I believe, actually. An E with it. They can early hunt. Personally, I think that's only ever happened once. And other than that, I don't think I'm not even spending a load of time in the ghost room to age it. But the interaction rate does go down over time. And I don't know, the early hunting doesn't seem to happen all that much. So I'm actually quite disappointed by this ghost usually. I'll put that one in C tier. It's not as bad as the Spirit, but it definitely could be better. It poses a danger, but personally I've never really thought of it as a danger. So the mimic is it an M? Is that the M or the T when it comes to alphabetic? I guess it's the T, but mimic, comma the. What do I think about the mimic? The mimic is, I guess, it's dangerous because it can mimic other early hunters and stuff, and mislead you, and especially the misleading aspect with the ghost orb not being, ghost orb being fake and not getting the right evidence. Because it, like, for example, it refuses to talk in a spirit box, or it doesn't touch anything, so it doesn't leave fingerprints because there's nowhere to leave fingerprints, or like the closest thing is like far away and it never goes there, or something. The ghost will sometimes refuse to do that, and I'm not really seeing anything. I guess I could stay until a hunt and then wait until it changes forms and then copy something else. And I know, but it's so much effort and time for me, and I just don't care about it that much. So I've guessed wrong before where it was actually a mimic. So I guess it does what it's supposed to do. Not always, but I guess for that reason it is good at misleading me. So I will say that that's A tier. The twins. There's like a main ghost and a twin ghost. Twin ghost has a larger interaction range, and they do things in like twos a lot. Like I'm gonna turn on the shower and I'm gonna throw a cup, and I'm gonna open the door and I'm gonna throw a plate. That's fairly fun. Like I said, I like active ghosts, and the twins have twice as much chance of being active because there's two of them. So I will A tier. Well, I do like them, yeah. So A tier. The Wraith. The Wraith used to be more fun, where it can actually step in salt piles and leave behind no footsteps. I don't know if it can still step in salt piles or not. I don't think so. So the Wraith test is not as effective anymore, as far as I'm aware. Maybe they changed that back. I'm not sure. Haven't really placed a lot of salt around wraiths. Then you basically have to put like a if it doesn't leave a footprint, then you basically have to place a motion sensor there and see if it actually walks by and doesn't leave a footstep. It still works, but and it still doesn't leave footsteps, and it still works, but it's I don't like the way it's being done anymore. Or I like it less. I should say I don't hate it, but yeah. Other than that, the Wraith's pretty much been. It can also I think the Raven, and the Phantom. I think the one of them can teleport to you, and the other one can walk to your location and then try to start a hunt. I think the Wraith can teleport, and the Phantom can walk to you. I believe, or it's the other way around. I don't know, but honestly, I have had the Phantom and the Wraith do that at times, but not often. So there's that. B tier seems like a good spot for them. Then we get the Yokai. The Yokai is one that hates when you talk, and you kind of have to talk because Spirit Box is one of its evidences. That said, I've never actually had a Yokai hunt me because I was talking. Just asking questions, Spirit Box is usually fine. I've used my microphone throughout an entire match and multiple ones, and it just didn't care. Excuse me. So honestly, it doesn't capitalize on its threats. And then finally, we get the Ure. The Ure with its larger sanity drain when you're near or when you're in the house, and something about opening and closing multiple doors. And I find the Ure to be quite boring as well, but slightly more engaging than other ghosts. So I will put that in C tier. And with that, we've reached the end of this tier list. I believe these are all the ghosts in the game, at least at the time of making this recording. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I guess, guess this is it. Yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this content. I would like to make more tier and listing and ranking videos in the future. So if you enjoyed that type of content, well, stay tuned, I guess. And well, with that, I should probably go.